Hello, everyone, and welcome to another figure study where we appreciate the form in Transformers. And today, I'm going to be taking a look at the Robots in Disguise Toys R Us exclusive Paralon. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I don't care. So, yeah, Paralon. Now, never watched Robots in Disguise, don't know much about any of the backstory or characters or any of that stuff, but I do know that this is some sort of repaint of Scorponok. Because Scorponok is mostly like brown and gray from what I've seen, and Paralon here is super purple. He's basically he's the Grimace. He's the Grimace, but he's a scorpion. Um, but all things considered, he's actually really cool. This is a like I haven't actually gotten my hands on Scorponok, so this is the first time I've messed around with this mold, but he's a nice looking scorpion. Honestly, it's like a very clean look. You know, nice clean back there. There are different shades of purple, so it's not quite too overwhelming with it. Like you've got, the lighter stuff here, darker stuff for the legs, darker shiny stuff for the head and claws. It's a nice balance. But yeah, he's overall a clean looking scorpion. The claws have a nice funky shape to them. And I really like how there's not a lot of painted detail on the scorpion here, but there is just enough to really make it pop. Like I do like the yellow that shows up on some of these bits here. It looks really nice. He's even got his little scorpion face with his moving mouth. Not really an accurate scorpion head, but scorpions also aren't transforming robots. Yeah, I don't know. I really like this scorpion mode. It's like even from the underside, it's actually pretty clean. There's a little bit of a head that you can see in there, but not really a problem. It's got a little bit of versatility in how you pose the tail, and of course, get rid of this, and you still have a more traditional scorpion tail, which looks pretty darn good. I mean, just the shape of it, like that's a good shape for a robot scorpion tail and stinger and everything. It's yeah. This is probably the most impressive Robots in Disguise figure I've ever handled. Which, I mean, not that, any of those figures are well, okay, Jazz was kind of disappointing, but for the simplicity that a lot of these figures have, this is really impressive, honestly. And I do like that even though the purple isn't uniform, it's uniformly broken up, if you know what I mean. How you've got like the darker purple here, then lighter purple here on both sides, the darker purple here, lighter purple here, darker purple going up into the lighter purple. It looks good. Like it's a nice balance of colors, nice balance of purples and darker purples and grays, and yeah. I think really the only issue is the red for the eyes. It doesn't really stand out in that dark purple. Like this yellow pops and it looks great, but this red just kind of gets lost a little bit. But, other than that, he's a nifty looking little adorable robot scorpion. So let's take a look at him in his robot mode. Robot mode is still a lot of purple and gray and darker purple. But it looks really good. I mean, honestly, I was really interested in Scorponok. Saw this guy, I was like, Scorponok that's almost entirely in Decepticon purple? Absolutely. And this does not disappoint. Just the amount of, again, like not a ton of painted details, but the stuff that's there really pops. Then you've got some, talk about popping and then go immediately to the stuff that doesn't pop, but whatever. So he's got his weird little claw mitt things. And I do like how these arms have like that darker purple stripe with like this little bit of pinkish purple here that actually matches what's in the midsection there. It just adds a little bit more detail to the arms there. Not a lot in terms of painted detail on the legs. Well, no painted detail on the legs. And yeah, it's nice purpley pink in the midsection. There's that stupid logo thing. If anyone wants it, you're welcome to it. I don't really care about any of this stuff. But then again, some really nice. I really like this yellow, how it just pops in that purple. I know I keep saying pops, but it really does. It's really nice looking. And then for his head, it is not a bad looking head. And again, you've got some of that variation on the shades of purple there. So there's actually a fair bit of painted detail in the head. And it's also cool how the edges of the helmet come down almost like scorpion mandibles. Kind of pulls that look in a little bit more, which I think looks really nice. One weird thing about this head sculpt, though, and I normally don't bother with talking about packaging or anything like that, but I just so happen to still have the packaging in this case. And yeah, so we've got this head, and this is how he's depicted on the box art. And that head does not match up with this head at all. Like, a couple of the small details are there, but like that head crest is not there, and he should have a second set of eyes up there. He should have two separate eyes instead of one big visor that goes all the way around. He has a nose that this guy doesn't have. It's just, I don't know. It just doesn't match up, and it kind of bugs me. No pun intended. Haha, Scorpion. I know. It just kind of bugs me because, the head just doesn't really look right. I mean, I'm assuming, I haven't seen Scorponok, but I'm assuming this is just a repainted Scorponok head. And fine, if they didn't want to remold it, whatever. But it's a little unfortunate. But anyway, getting to the molding and overall shape, there is some nice molded detail on him. Some of it's actually picked out. It's not a ton because, he's a cartoon character and kind of kept smooth to convey that. But it looks good. And I actually really like how there's this little bit of molding in here that kind of lines up between where these claws connect to the torso. And it just, I don't know, it's nice to have that continual design element going across. It makes it blend a little bit better, even though it's definitely a darker shade of purple. And for his overall look, I really like it. I'm kind of really into the long, skinny legs, the funky hooked oven mitt arms. I like the claws on the big shoulder pods. It's silly, but it kind of works. And he's just got this really nice kind of lanky shape to him that works really well. I mean, he turns into a bug. And I know not everyone's a fan of the chicken legs, but I actually really like the legs on this guy. Because yeah, they're skinny, they're incredibly skinny, incredibly chicken leggy, but they're actually very stable for what they are. I've been able to get him into some pretty decent poses, and he actually holds them. Because these, move him back a little bit so you can see better. Yeah, these legs are actually pretty nice. They're not loose, but they're not super tight either. They're just in that sweet spot where they can hold poses without too much of a problem. And of course, because they're super jointed, you can kind of play around with how tall you want to make him. You can have him standing upright. You can squish him down a little bit more to make him a little bit hunchier. There's a lot to play with in those legs, and I think they're really cool. You can stretch them up. It works really well. I really like it. I just love just these skinny little legs, and it's kind of nicely balanced with this bulky torso. It works really well for me. And he also has pretty large heels, so he holds his weight very well. You can see, even though the legs are kind of janky, they tend to, this section of the leg is like the perfect length so that when you keep moving this up and down, you can see like this kind of stays along the center of his body, so it keeps him pretty well balanced. Anyway, yeah, I got the scorpion bits on the back, which actually work pretty well. You know, he's just got legs and a tail back there. He cleans up very nicely. He robot modes very nicely. And of course, you got the scorpion tail sword that he can hold, but who cares? Yeah, overall, I gotta say, Paralon, if that is how you pronounce it, is very cool. I probably would have held out for Scorponok, or if it was between him and Scorponok, I honestly don't know which I would have taken because I haven't seen enough close-up pictures of Scorponok to know. But I really like this guy, and yeah, he's a whole bunch of purple, but he's a whole bunch of purple with a little bit of gray and different shades of purple that are actually distinct enough that I think it breaks up the look a lot. It looks good. His head is a little bit limited in the ways it can turn, though. But, whatever. He looks cool. That's all that matters to me. He looks really cool. So, that has been my look at Robots in Disguise, the Toys R Us exclusive Paralon, the apparent repaint of Scorponok. Thank you, everybody, for watching. As per usual, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Any combination of those three will make me a happy Rob. And remember, art is more than meets the eye.